From Cherry Magic to Osan's Love, down to Tokyo in April is amongst many other Japanese BLs that have been produced. My best of them all, like my best of all time best, is my personal weatherman, or in Japanese, Taikan Yoho. You see, like for this BL, I can never trade it for anything. Even when I talk so much about, Korean BL and Thai BL, like Japanese BL, they keep it very real. You don't even feel like you're watching a drama. It just feels like you're watching your next door neighbor who is just living their lives. It feels so real, and so you can immerse so much in the drama. But this does not mean that I always love all their dramas, because some of them can be very, they just stretch it out and it becomes boring. But for this particular one, it was just 8 episodes. Like the whole drama, like the series, was so heartwarming for me. It was so interesting, and I feel like I always love the plot of BLs where there's one person who is in charge of like the other one, and that's what this BL was just about. Like two people who knew each other from university, one deciding, okay, because I could not make a name out for myself out of writing, drawing mangas and whatnot, so I want to go and look for a job. The other one now saying, no, instead of you doing that, why don't you come and become my personal. Yes, as sad as that can be, I don't really know any better word for what happened in this drama than to call that guy like a slave. So all that was in their contract was that I will feed you, I will do everything. You don't have to bother about a job, but you do whatever I want you to do. I don't know how this guy has agreed to this contract and got to the point of having to live with this guy. But long story short, them now living their lives and having so many points that I loved so much in this drama. I could not help it but to share it with you guys. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite scenes in this BL, like my personal weatherman. If you watched my video where I talked about my 10 best of all time BLs, I made sure to include this drama because I couldn't help it. Like, of all the Japanese BL I watched, it was the only one that made my top 10. So make sure to check it out after watching this video. But let me share with you my first scene that I love so much in this BL. When they were drawing up this verbal contract that not just make any sense to me. You see, what made this scene very funny to me was the fact that like the guy who is the weather forecaster said, I plan to be a high earner. Like the confidence he had for him to say I plan to be, it's not like you're already a high earner, but you plan to be a high earner, so come and be my slave while I take care of you. You just have to draw your manga and do whatever, but just come and live with me and I'll feed you and take care of you. You don't have to bother about getting a job. This was quite interesting to me. So like the verbal contract they were just having was so funny to me, but I was like, who draws up a contract like this, or who makes such proposal to come and become my slave while I take care of you because I plan to be a high earner? I've never seen such, so it was quite funny to me. So for the other scene I loved so much, or one of the scenes I loved so much, you see like this their contract of you do whatever I want, just come and live with me. That like I can just be doing something, just come and meet me and say go to the bed. Like who does that? That kind of thing. So like this is what the contract entailed and the guy had to follow through. So like I really love this scene so much, even when these things are somewhat like should I say things that will be seen as controversial, but I found it quite interesting in the series and I loved it so much, and how the guy usually responds to these commands that the weather forecaster guy usually tells him to. It was quite interesting. So this scene I loved so much as well. You see, despite this scenario they found themselves in that I talked about. I feel like one part that really warmed my heart was when he decided to take this manga artist for like a days, and they had to go out and about eating and smiling. This was the first time I saw this the manga artist smiling, despite being like a contracted slave and living with this weatherman guy that is somewhat heartless, if I may put it that way. But the time they decided to go on a date was quite heartwarming for me, because that guy has really had a fair share of commands, do this, do that, I want you to just go to the bed, I want you to cook for me, I want you to do this. But then for him to now decide to take him out on a date and seeing him smiling was so good. Like, I felt very good, so I had to add it to one of my favorite scenes in this drama. The way the drama is acted, it felt so realistic that things that people go through, but they don't really talk about it. So I feel like this drama was quite a good representation of relationships that most people experience but don't talk about it, because it's something that should not be talked about. So even when the manga artist wanted to go out to go and meet his friend, for the weatherman guy to say no, you cannot go, that was quite an interesting. So I feel like I'm always drawn to all these scenes that are somewhat controversial, that some people will say this is not normal, it should not be allowed in a drama and whatnot. But I'm always liking those dramas. I don't really know why, but that is why maybe I resonated so much with this drama. Even when he could not go and meet that his friend who he's helping to draw mangas and whatnot, and the friend coming over and there are so many scenes you can love in this series, because it was very interesting and heartwarming. So many scenes were so nice, but I just had to pick like my top favorite scenes. After going through the 8 episodes of the series, these were the scenes that I can never give up on. Like, I keep going back to them because they were so good and they were acted out so good. Now, was it when the manga artist became sick and he could not even do anything in the house? When Mr. the owner of the house expects that when he comes back home he will see food to eat, but then not seeing anything to eat, and seeing that the guy was sick, taking care of him and making him feel like a human being, unlike what the manga artist always feels about this their relationship, that he does not love him and all that kind of thing.
Yo,
but seeing him take care of him was so good, and at least it will always make anybody, even when it is not a drama, to feel good, because you've not always felt that you're not loved, but then seeing this and the way the guy now reacted to him being sick and taking care of him and doing everything that he was supposed to be doing for like the manga artist was supposed to be doing for the weatherman, and the reverse now being the case, was very nice to see. So I really love this scene so much. Now for the final scene I loved so much in this series, even when Mr. Weatherman told Mr. Manga Artist not to go out and go and meet his friend who is supposed to go and draw mangas with, he still sneaked out of the house and went to that place. And when Mr. Weatherman found out and came to those people's house, that scene was so interesting. Like, the way they acted out everything, this series was so interesting, and I found myself blushing in so many points in this series. So you should definitely check it out when you're done watching this video. So guys, I can tell you that of all the Japanese dramas that have been acted, I have so many that I've watched. This one was my best of all of them. Even when Japanese BLs are always very good and they make it so realistic that you would fall in love with the characters. Japanese BLs are one of my top ones, and just like in one of my other videos, somebody commented that like Thai BLs are so good as well, that I should check them out. This person forgets that or this person does not know the fact that Thai BL was even what made me to start watching BL. Thai BL made me to travel all the way to Thailand. Thai BL exposed me to the world of BL, and I still love them so much. It's just that some of the Thai BLs that are being produced now can be very cringy. So you see, like in a bunch of 10 BLs that are produced, you find like just one or two that are very good. Even when I started watching Pit Babe and was loving it, at some point I just started losing interest. This is what Thai BL can do to you. But for these Japanese BLs, this is one of my best of all time BL. So I would love for you to watch the full BL. I'll see you guys in my next video. Make sure to click that like button, subscribe, and join the family. Bye guys.